President Hakainde Hichilema this afternoon just swore in 5 ambassadors and high commissioners, and the people of Zambia have reacted. So in today's episode, we are going to be talking about the latest appointments and basically how we feel as Zambian youth. And we're also going to be echoing a few sentiments coming in from different factions of society. So welcome to the show. How are you doing?
I'm okay. I'm okay. Amazing to be here. And amazing to be, speaking to the Zambian people over issues that really matter.
Right. And today's episode is obviously sponsored by ourselves. Yeah, we are going to be advertising auto.zcorner.com. This is obviously the number one auto site for Zambia where people can actually get to list, buy and sell cars. So if you are looking for a platform to sell your vehicle, please visit auto.zcorner.com. Obviously, the link is going to be in the description box below. So simply click on that link and then it's going to take you to our website where you can find a variety of cars and you can also sell your very own car. But enough about that. Let's get back to today's discussion, which is obviously your reaction to President Hichilema's recent appointment. So before you get into that, right, can you just specify the number of the people who were appointed?
Well, so we've had 5 people that have been appointed so far, and the first one is Stephen Katuka, who is Zambia's High Commissioner to the Republic of Namibia. Congratulations to him. Second, we have Colonel Panji Kaunda, who is Zambia's High Commissioner to the Republic of Malawi. So congratulations to Colonel Panji Kaunda as well. Paulo Osita is Zambia's ambassador to the Democratic Republic of Congo, and we do have Danken Mulima, the 4th appointee, and he is Zambia's ambassador to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. And the 5th and final appointment for today, we do have Eunice Tembo Luambiya, who is Zambia's permanent representative to the United Nations office in Geneva, Switzerland. So these are the 5 appointees: Stephen Katuka, Colonel Panji Kaunda, Paulo Osita, Danken Mulima, and Eunice Tembo.
Yeah, so what is your reaction and how do you feel about these appointments? Because the streets are talking.
The streets are talking. Okay, so glad that we are finally, appointing ambassadors and high commissioners. And when you get to look at the appointees that have been appointed so far, majority of them are in African countries, and only one who is Danken Mulima, who is the ambassador to Saudi Arabia, which I feel, is a key partner to Zambia's, growth as well. So glad to see that. Also Switzerland as well, by the way. So 2 from one Saudi Arabia, the other one Switzerland, and then the rest is Africa: Namibia, Malawi, and Congo. So it is quite interesting to see that these countries have received representation from Zambia, and everyone is talking about the age of the people that have been appointed. And personally, for me, I don't have an issue with the age. I don't have an issue if they we don't have any youths appointed in these capacities. That's just my view. But I don't know, what is your reaction?
Age does matter, because I remember there was an ambassador, and I'm not going to mention any names, because I don't want to get in trouble. This ambassador, from Zambia, represent in a disclosed country, I'm not going to mention the country, right? Was very old. He was very, very old, and he could literally not even make a speech. And, when it comes to these positions such as ambassador, high commissioners, these are like literally presidents, presidential representatives, and they are equivalent to having a president in that particular location, So somebody has to be very witty, somebody has to be energetic, and they have to have life in them, So getting to choose people who are above a certain threshold is not really productive and it's not really a good look. Can you imagine trying to negotiate with somebody who's like barely able to be awake? That's very frustrating, and it's not really a good thing. And in terms of getting to strike deals and just being proactive, it's not really a feasible idea. So this is one of the reasons why at least having energetic people, it doesn't really matter if you're like above 50 and whatnot. You at least you have to have some power in you, and you have to be proactive, you have to be smart, and you have to have your wits. So getting to appoint overly or rather extremely older people is something which is going to be not as productive in comparison to younger people who've got more ideas. They're open to things. I think that is a better sort of solution. But I do believe that the people who are here, like for example, Colonel Panji Kaunda, I'm sure he's still a very young man at heart, and he's got a lot of energy and proactiveness in him. Because I remember during opposition, right, he was very cardinal, he was very instrumental, and I really believe he can still deliver. So Stephen Katuka, yes, he is still very young, but I do get the general context of where a lot of people are coming from, especially the Zambian youth. But you have to understand, you see, when it comes to such type of roles, right, because they were saying abateke chalo, what's the exact phrase again, as in basically what a lot of people have been saying is that these appointments come from within the UPND circles and the alliance and the sympathizers and whatnot. So very strategic key roles like diplomats, ambassadors, high commissioners, these have to come from the circle, from the UPND structure, the alliance, etc. So one of the reasons, or rather one of the points that I can give is, in order for young people to be appointed, they needed to have had participated. This is the same discussion that a lot of people usually have in terms of women not participating in politics and women not being members of parliament, because number one, they're not competing, and if they are competing, they're not really as competitive as the males. And this is one of the reasons why we've got fewer female MPs in parliament. So if females are able to participate equally and they are able to be available and be present, there would be MPs. It's not like we are strategically trying to oppress women. It's all about participation. So getting back to these appointments, right? Obviously, they are choosing from a certain limited crowd, and these crowds involve people who were very active during opposition. And you already know how brutal it was being in opposition during the previous regime. Young people were not really able to take that risk. So this is one of the reasons why a lot of participants were obviously older people with established businesses, people who, had at least a solid background. So based on that, it is very hard for the president to sort of just appoint any random young people, because how is he going to appoint Mnalula when Mnalula wasn't really part of the struggle? And of course, we have seen certain appointments such as Chellah Tukuta, and we have seen the type of behavior that Chellah Tukuta has been showcasing as far as the presidency is concerned.
This is what I would say. First of all, we have to understand the criteria that the president is using to appoint these people.
Yes.
First of all, we have to really understand it. If we are told what criteria is there, do the young people meet those criteria? You understand? And that, I feel that was one of your points. And this is why I say that I don't think it's an issue for me of, you should appoint more young people. There are issues of experience. Colonel Panji Kaunda is son to late founding father, President Kenneth Kaunda. And I do believe that Colonel Panji Kaunda has experience in diplomatic affairs. He was, he's done some studies abroad, he's done this and that because of the position that he was in as the son of the head of state. So he has the experience to, make sure that relations are being made and we have good, strong relations with these other countries. So the criteria for me is very important. I think right now is a time for the youth to work and create experiences. It is our time not to look for office appointments in terms of government, government office appointments, because here's the thing, we have quite a number of appointees. You talked about Chellah Tukuta as a photographer. That's just one out of other individuals. We have Jito Kaunda. We have one of the Mwanawasa, Maureen Mwanawasa's daughter, who was appointed.
And
we do have Chileshe Kangwa as well. So we do have quite a number, and these are the positions that we need. If we have a minister who is 75, we need to have a permanent secretary who is at least 40 and below. You understand?
Right.
And I feel that's what they've done with the Ministry of Youth. And now this is what we have to say. Okay, cool. The high commissioners, the ambassadors, you're using this age group, right? But the people doing most of the work at these embassies, the other positions should be filled up by the young people.
Exactly.
You understand? So for me, this is where I feel like this is where we have to go. Yes, they can appoint the ambassadors to be from the older crowd, but the people that are helping and are working at these embassies should be the young people.
Exactly. And just to give you a little bit of context, right? The ambassadorial role is not really as complex as everybody else thinks, because the ambassador works with the team, and most of the times, right, they're just going to be told, do this, do that. And of course, if they've got a lot of brilliant ideas and they're very proactive, they're going to be finding loopholes, and they're going to be making sure that certain things get done. But for the most part, right, they are guided by a team. So this is one of the reasons why, just to play the devil's advocate, right? Even a person who's, let's say, around 40, 35 can be an ambassador. And moreover, in the past, we had ambassadors such as, what's his name? Vernon Mwanga. He was the ambassador of Russia. And that time, he was like literally below 29. And they were able to get things done. And during those times, right, Zambia was a very young nation. We had a lot of challenges, and we didn't have like a very well-organized system and team where everything has been flawlessly done for you. So if we look at Zambia's history and our first cabinet, they were full of young, energetic people. So this is one of the reasons why I do sympathize with a lot of people out there who are saying, look, when you don't government, you have abandoned the youths. And we have to step up as youths. And this is where the chicken egg debate comes in, because number one, you talked about experience. How are you going to get experience as a young person? How are you going to get that vast experience? So this is one of the reasons why it's very hard in Africa trying to make it as a young person, because 9 times out of 10, right, young people are used for, bad vices. They are used for political violence, because they know, these guys are broke, they don't really have much, and we can take advantage of them by using them for bad things, in order for bad things to get done. So this is one of the reasons why we have to mobilize ourselves as youths, and we have to do proactive things. We have to do progressive things. So no matter whether Mnalula gets a position or not, I have to show you my value. I have to put myself out there, because number one, I know I'm not really going to be given such a huge role in order for me to, continue piling up my experience. So as young people as well, we just have to, step up and use our own initiative and do whatever we can in our little powers to be influential and impactful as well.
Now, I do agree with young people being active, and that's where I feel I had my point was we need to do the work first. You can get experience by being a personal assistant to the ambassador or to a person who's in a higher position, and I feel like it's a system that we need to change the system. We need to have a system that cultivates, and then from the same let's say we have a minister, then the permanent secretary is young, right? So we start grooming these individuals. The permanent secretaries should be groomed to take over the minister's job, you understand? So same thing. So we don't have a system, a proper mentorship system, where we get the younger people and then ensure that when they are in these positions, one, they are following or the etiquette of that position. Two, they are ensuring that work is properly done. So
exactly,
we need to change the system. We need to have a system that cultivates young talent or young leaders, puts them in higher positions. So we need to start. They need to start from somewhere. You understand?
Right.
So because we have young people that have been appointed. So, for example, the DMMU boss, Paulo, he is,
and I believe he's doing a phenomenal job.
And he is doing a phenomenal job, yes. And if we look at it and say, okay, where are we going to, which pond are we going to get these young people that we're going to put in these higher positions?
All right. Yeah, that's a very great point. And, a lot of you might be saying, okay, like, remember the points that I gave in terms of people who were part of the struggle, people who funded the UPND and so on and so forth, right? We have quite a number of young people who were even arrested and they had to face jail time. For example, Romeo Kang'ombe, up to now, I do not know what he does and what type of appointment he's been given because he
MP.
did. Besides him being an MP, yeah, but the point that I'm trying to say, okay, let's
Should we do it to be appointed?
No,
Should
not
we do it to
not
be
necessarily.
appointed? So
here the debate is youth participation in leadership roles. That's what a lot of people are talking about, and this is one of the reasons why a lot of people are saying, look, by youthie, you were standing in lines and you made sure that, okay, this UPND new Dawn government was elected, but what's happening to you being given governmental or leadership roles? That's where the most important question is stemming from.
I'm saying this. You talked about participation and active participation. Now, in terms of youth participation, I feel like youth should be more, concentrate more about becoming members of parliament. You understand? So when we form the majority number in parliament, obviously they'll have to pick from us. If we have more Binwell Mpundus, if we have more Christopher Kangombes, if we have more Tasila Lungus, if we have more Romeo Kangombes.
Yeah, if you look at the names that you came up with, Binwell Mpundu, Romeo who's this? Christopher and Tasila Lungu. For example, Tasila Lungu is the daughter of the former Republican president. How many people are privileged enough? And moreover, do you think Tasila Lungu would have had, or rather, been able to achieve what she has done on a political level if she wasn't the daughter of Edgar Lungu? I bet you not. Tasila Lungu couldn't convince anybody. She couldn't even convince me even if I was sleeping. But due to the fact that she is the daughter of former Republican president, this is one of the reasons why she was privileged to be an MP. But if she was starting from scratch, she would have been somebody else.
There's always no pun intended. There's always a case. So I could also refer to Binwell Mpundu. What happened? They said, no, we're not going to adopt you from Kana constituency. What did he do? He stood as an independent and he fought and he proved a point.
Binwell Mpundu was the DC district commissioner for Kito from
and that's the working and the experience, and he convinced the people of Zambia. Let's not just convince the youth, convince the older generation as well, saying, guys, we are ready now to take up the mantle. Are we doing that? You talked about the Chellah Tukuta.
Exactly.
I'm disappointed.
Yeah, no bad blood and all that stuff. But I'm just saying, look, Chellah Tukuta, you were given a massive opportunity and you are literally messing it up for the youth, because now the president is going to be like, okay, if we appoint young people, this is the outcome that we're going to be getting. And of course, we know Chellah Tukuta's behavior. Everybody knows Chellah Tukuta's behavior. So Chellah Tukuta, you're representing the youths and our chances of being part of government. So please, when you are given such opportunities, make sure that you conduct yourself in a professional manner so that other people can have equal opportunities as well. Because now the president is going to be afraid to, have a youthful photographer now,
Yeah, so now, and leading to my point is by saying, let the youth work and, do more stuff for the company. We can be the leading revolutionaries in terms of our economy. We can be the change in the sense that we can, create companies. We can start up businesses because we have that energy. Imagine if
I
if
do
a
agree
young...
where you're coming from. I do agree, but is that practical?
It is. Imagine if a young Zingabelo... Yeah, then Sarah. And this is why now we should say we should fight for equal opportunities in these biddings. When people are bidding for tenders to build schools, supply what, they must consider youth companies to take these biddings and tenders. That access is what we need the most than people just being in political positions.
With you. I do agree. I totally get what you're saying, but is it practical in our society, in our system? Let's say, for example, look at the many opportunities that the Patriotic Front gave to the youths with regards to the Black Mountain and just mining small scale and basically trying to venture into this business. Guess what happened? A lot of Jerabos, and what type of reputation Jerabos have and whatnot. So these are the.
Now imagine if they gave the youth to be an ambassador, what would happen? If youths were failing to even handle, the dam site on the Copper Belt. So
that's why the criteria of choosing the people that you appoint is very vital.
And this is where now when they appoint people from a certain, for example, Colonel Panji Kaunda is a former heads of state, son. So if they appoint only these people that understand, or act a certain type of way, you will say they're just appointing themselves.
Yeah, but why does it have to be extreme? Why do we have to compare the Jerabos, the youthful Jerabos and whatnot, and having an extreme example such as, Colonel Panji? Why can't we talk about progressive youths who are actually doing tangible things in society? Like, let's say, for example,
on top of my head.
Okay, on top of my head, the Siame guy, the Siame with the page thing, in the Dumisani Nkube. Dumisani can make a very good minister of SMEs.
So what's wrong with him? He's providing, he's an industry leader. He's providing jobs. He's creating more opportunities. He's opening doors. And that's why I asked. Imagine if a young Zingamelu was given a government position. Imagine if a young Monica Msonda, Java Foods, was given a government. Let entrepreneurs be entrepreneurs and politicians be politicians.
Exactly. I'm just giving you examples of the type of caliber of youths that need to be appointed. The only appointees that I get is people who are empowered is either the wrong ones or the ones that have got a skewed mentality. Why can't we pick the cream de la cream of our youths and the youths who are actively involved in sort of politics? Because we have a few people who are involved in politics and they are very well managed. So one of the fastest examples that I can give is Romeo Kang'ombe. Even though Romeo Kang'ombe is already an MP,
he's had a fair number of scandals. Romeo Kang'ombe as MP as well. He's had scandals of and these are allegations that were I think not proved true or something, but like I said, it's a scandal, so it can be true or not. Issues of where human trafficking and so on and so forth, bad business situations, so they're very, when you talk about, let's talk about youth. Would you say the PF gave youth at least, some freedom to do certain things? Youths like Maxwell Chungu?
Yeah, Maxwell
Chungu. How did he use his connections to ensure that fellow youths are uplifted? And we show that, when youths are given certain, privileges, we can do something better.
Exactly. So these are the prime examples. For example, Maxwell Chungu, when he was empowered and his company was given many contracts, what did he end up doing? He ended up going on social media, started bragging about the wealth and the amount of, powerful machines his money was able to buy. So obviously we do have this bad blood type of relationship when we get to see youths being promoted and being, uplifted. So this is one of the reasons why I'm saying a greater criteria with regards to selecting who gets to be empowered needs to be implemented so that we obviously pick the right people.
And that to be done, we need a proper, leadership, pool to get these people from. We do have quite a number of, people that we can say, okay, they can do something. They've got a bright future in politics. For example, we do have Mula Cressy Dibwanga, who is, can make maybe a good assistant to some, I don't know, ambassador, or something. So we need to start cultivating the young leaders. We need to start having more leadership. We need to start building leaders. So once we build leaders, now we can say, okay, the youths are ready to take up these, positions.
Exactly.
Because so far we haven't yet. Yes, we can go and vote. Yes, we'll be the loudest. The youth will always be the loudest. Even at the time of, the time of independence, the youths were the loudest. The time of racism in the world, the youths were the loudest. But then in terms of appointments, very few youths always get the appointments because we need to grow. We need to learn certain things. But that would only be done when we have proper mentorship, from some sessions, proper leadership schools that teach leadership, and then we get from those youths. We can't just pick
out of nowhere.
This
is one of the reasons why we have to put ourselves out there, because how are you going to be empowered? How are you going to be sort of given these opportunities when you're not there and you're not really in the trenches? You have to be in the trenches. You have to be impactful to some level, because a lot of people think it's really about having a lot of resources and having all these connections, but you can always start on whatever level and be impactful and be recognized. Like, for example, I'll give a very bad example, right? Bowman Musambo, we all know that he was a muscle man for the MMD, and this is one of the reasons why he rose up the ranks. But of course, Bowman Musambo is not really the best example that I can give you. But he used whatever strategy or whatever strengths he had. So you can always find the loophole. You can be a good organizer. Like, for example, those guys, the guys who sang political songs at the end. What's the name of
the guys from
Luambiya?
NAC Unity.
NAC Unity. So NAC Unity used their capacity as youths to be very impactful. They used their voices. What has happened to them? Have they started working with the Ministry of Youth, sports and whatnot to sort of be impactful to a greater extent? We've literally forgotten about them. NAC Unity, they really played a key role to make sure that the UPND garners momentum at the end of the election battle. So there are certain ways that we can be impactful, and you just have to look at the talent or the prowess that you have and be impactful in that very, very category or niche. So this is one of the reasons why we have to participate. This is one of the reasons
we have to participate. We have to be groomed for leadership positions. And here's the thing. We need a national grooming of leaders. We don't need a private, these guys are going to inherit, and then when you start, because here's the thing, I'll tell you for a fact, UPND had a lot of youths that were fighting in Kabwe. Don Winder was one of
Did he get any appointment? Now I'm really getting pissed off. Don Winder, very impactful guy. And he had a lot of willpower, and he had a lot of impact in Kavwe. What has happened to Don Mwenda? Has he been given any, opportunities, any positions, any roles? I haven't heard anything.
So these are the situations that are happening. I like what happened in Solwezi. Naomi Teta Mashimba was given a leadership position of leadership appointment by the UPND, which was a good thing. And this is what we need, likes of Don Mwenda as well. Not necessarily to be appointed as ambassador, but start from somewhere. Align them, start from somewhere. Unfortunately, Don wasn't even picked, as an MP. Was contesting as an MP, wasn't picked during the process. So these processes are now processes that we should start protesting about and say we need more opportunities as young people. We need also to have a fair play and fair game where it comes to your selection when you're adopting members of parliament, because we, the young people, are the ones who understand what majority of the citizens are facing, because they are are young before we look at the appointments. And that's why, for me, I keep on saying the fight isn't on political appointments. The fight is participation. The way Binwell Mpundu fought to, participate. He was standing against the giant Alexander Steme, but, he was David. He slayed the, Goliath. And we need to start from there. Once we start from there, now you can go and say, okay, guys, let's look at parliament. Let's look at how these young guys are debating. Okay, this one is ripe. This one is mature enough to be given a post to be a minister, to be an ambassador, to be a high commissioner.
Right. And we're not saying that the youths by default have to be spoon-fed and given these positions. The youths have to fight for the position, and they have to prove that they are worthy to be given such amazing and powerful roles. So we're not really saying, look, by default, give us. No, we're saying consider us, and if there are people out there who have put in the work and they are impactful in their own right, recognize them, give them opportunities. I mean, Panji Kaunda is a solid individual. He doesn't need that post. His family is well off. They'll always be good. There are people out there who would, really, really need these jobs, and they would really have a greater impact because their families would be elevated to an extent that would be very, very detrimental to the incoming generation. So,
now imagine that I have an issue with that line of thought, in the sense that, and this is why I keep on saying, let the youths work. We have our own source of money, so that the temptation of corruption, and other vices of, because I don't know, but it's just a trend that has been set, when you're given these positions.
Before you drift from that point, right? Just hold on to your point. Okay, let's say, for example, we have a youthful, guy who has been appointed in a certain key role. Don't you think his circle of influence would also be fellow youths, and he would most likely empower fellow youths as well? For example, the issue of giving out contracts, don't you think it is of greater likelihood that even the people who are going to be getting the contracts are also going to be in the same age? Because a lot of these people have got a network who they work with. So if you appoint a slightly older, mature guy, best believe his network who are also going to be empowered are going to be older and mature people. And we've got no problem with that. But the thing is, we are in a country where the wealth distribution has a huge discrepancy, and the youths are qualified and they've got the prowess, and they are eager to take up these challenges, but there are just no opportunities out there. So we have to understand the distribution of networks and how networks kind of work and disseminate.
Yeah, then everything leads back to the whole, what pool are we getting these youths that can be these leaders? Because at the end of the day, truthfully speaking, there would be a lot of ego. Now I'm the boss. You know how youths are, because even as youths, we do business with other fellow youths. When they see you, it's now sizing up of, okay, who's doing better, who's not doing better, and all that stuff.
But it's always like that. I mean, it's always whether you're young, it's an ego thing. It's a man thing.
So are we ready to? Do we have youths that who see beyond that? Do we have youths that where we can get those that want, when we put them in those positions, that will elevate other leaders? We need youths, when we put them in a position, they elevate other young people, you understand?
Correct.
And not they think about themselves and they just now they just elevate themselves and their families. Because I think the key point of this whole is elevating other young people, to do bigger things by giving them opportunities, appointing them in key decision-making, positions. This is what is important. But do we have that youth that is going to say, guys, I will carry my fellow youths when I'm there?
Let's look at the current crop of youths, or rather youthful people who are in key governmental roles. Let's look at Binwell Mpundu, Christopher Kang'ombe, Tasila Lungu, and other young people. How many people are they grooming? Are they carrying people on their back to sort of take up these leadership roles? Let's start from there, because that's the only grading criteria we have, because we don't really have as many youths. So if we look at Tasila Lungu, is she grooming other people? For example, there are a few prominent people who have stooges, you know, who, for example, Boman Lusambo came up under MMD. I remember Dr. Nevas Mumba, you know, did play a key role in order to sort of, elevate Boman Lusambo. So these are, by the way, do not quote me on that one. Do not quote me on that one, because now Dr. Nevas Mumba will be like, me, Lusambo? Hell no. You know what I'm saying? But my point is, at least, there are people who sort of gravitate towards other people, and they are being mentored. For example, Tiza Mukuka is being mentored by both by Boman Lusambo. So if you see the way Tiza Mukuka is coming up and the way Boman Lusambo does its thing, you see that there's a pattern there, if you know what I'm saying. So at least you guys who've got opportunities in government, who are you helping? Are you creating a team that is going to be the next, or rather, this team is going to be the next Binwell Mpundus, the Christopher Kangombes, the Tasila Lungus? What's happening?
I've got a question. If we had a political party that just had youths, do you think election day, that party, we call it youth party, would win?
It's all about resources. If this youth party is well funded and they know how to get money and they know how to be impactful, there would be a force to reckon with. Using Boman Lusambo's words, there would be a force to reckon with. But you see, the way politics is done in Africa is all about funding. Funding for the most part. So this is
we've
what
got this energy and whatnot. We would be able to get funding. Here's the thing.
But do you have the network? Do you have the network to lobby for funding?
Speaking of funding, Mwila Cressy Wanga was the youngest contender for Nchanga constituency in Chingola. He is a youth. He managed he had the most good quality banners and posters around Chingola, and he had more flyers even than the current MP who won, who is
he knew where to get them cheap.
Good quality. You could tell that, okay, he planned this and he had the money for that. So getting resources, I don't think would be an issue, because we have already youths that have been there, that have done that. He came out third from UPNDPF, then Mwela, NDC was,
and he was independent.
Independent. NDC was nowhere to be seen. Socialist Party failed. DP Party failed. These are parties, socialist.
So in such instances, now Mwela Cressy needs to go out there, disseminate this information by youth, or rather, come up, form a political party or something.
He has an organization.
I'm
be
here,
relevant, be relevant. And
I'm here.
If you follow them, they're doing quite amazing, jobs. So, but he's not getting the
recognition.
The recognition and the highlights, because most of the youths are not about that life. Most of the youths want things. They don't want to be in those leadership, because they do have conferences, they do have they do have a lot of situations that deal with mentoring young people, and he has quite a good network around Africa. So now, how do you young people tap into that energy, tap into that connection and all that stuff? So it is very possible for us to raise the funds, for us to be well coordinated. But are we willing to work together? We're not proving to the older generation and even us ourselves that we are ready to take up leadership, leadership positions.
True. Yeah, so anyways, this is one of the reasons why when we keep on participating as youths, we're going to be having much more information with regards to the do's and the don'ts and how to do things better. So best believe Mwela Cressy has got better information and better strategies now I guarantee you, next elections, if he has to do this again, he would obviously have better results. And this is one of the reasons why initially participating is very key, because when you participate, you gain much more knowledge, and you are able to be impactful within your network, which is most likely going to be your colleagues, and they're most likely going to be in your age range. So this is one of the reasons why we have to, continue praising people like Mula Crazy and all the other youths that really put up a good fight. And let's work together. Let's fund ourselves, not only when it comes to politics and governmental roles. When it comes to business, let's come together and fund ourselves. We have to be professional, get the results, do the market research, business research, etc., because we are the majority of the population. So if we put our heads together and our voices are united, best believe we can get a lot of things done. But where do we start? It starts by having thoughts and conversations like these. This is one of the reasons why, for example, Z Corner is owned by us. We fund it, we run it, we come up with the strategies, and we are able to have these conversations. Best believe that the older generations are like, oh, goodness, the young ones, they are coming up. The more we keep on talking about this, the more it's going to be apparent, and the more we're going to know how to do things better.
Yeah, so let's, my plea to the youths out there, let's stop being crybabies. I know this might come out as offensive, but right now we need to borrow a woman's energy. Let's bulldoze. Let's bulldoze. Let's bulldoze. If they don't want to appoint, us, let's show them, our capabilities. Let's show them that when the youths come together, this is what's going to happen. And not only on election day. No, in business. Okay, guys, you don't want to do business with us? We're going to trade and, do business among us ourselves and see, how these guys are going to, start coming back to us. Because majority of the workforce is youths. You understand?
Exactly.
So majority of the businesses, people that run around are youths. So we can create opportunities. We can bulldoze. We can break down doors. But not just sitting down and waiting for appointments. Yes, appointments will be there. And that's why we keep on getting disappointed. We have we have some of the most amazing appointments, one would say. Anthony Waria. What position does he have?
Presidential
spokesperson, the press aide. That gentleman is youthful.
Yeah.
We do have Chileshe Kangwa. There now we should see he's coming from the entertainment background as well as he is a pastor. We will expect such a gentleman to bring all the youths, and provide more opportunities and open more doors. As much as Tasila Lungu has her background of being
Tasila Lungu will kill me for my earlier statement.
The daughter to a former head of state. Personally, I feel she's doing a good job as Chawama member of parliament, and I would like to have even just an interview, an interaction with Tasila Lungu right here on Z Corner. Because there's a lot going on. One of her fellow colleagues tried Aris Kayengu. She failed to scoop it, but she's done it, and she is still doing it. And so far, I haven't heard anybody saying anything bad about
We'll see
Tasila.
in 2026 if she'll scoop it.
She'll scoop it.
Because that would be like a very a realistic test. Yes, that would be the real test, because there's no daddy now.
But looking at Tasila, she has a track record of doing, she was
Before the dad.
Not before the dad, but
yeah, we're saying before the dad.
She knew what to do and when to do that, and she wasn't vocal. She's not that offensive. She has never been, offensive. A statement that has gone viral.
She doesn't need to be offensive. What I'm saying, if it wasn't for daddy, come on. Let's be honest.
Life is not fair. Honestly, life is not fair.
So we'll see in 2026 if she's going to be able to.
Yeah, so we do have quite a number of appointees that are youthful. So what are they doing before we look at the order? What are they doing? Let's see them grouped together. JJ Bandas, what are they doing? Are they bringing youths? Are they bringing more opportunities for the youth people? The Binwell Mpundus, the Christopher Kangombes, Romeo. Is it Kangombe? Is it?
Romeo Kangombe.
Romeo Kangombe as well. Youthful gentleman. And he's really a good businessman, I must say. We have the Munir Zulus who are youthful.
Oh my goodness! even forgot about Munir Zulu. Anyway, Munir Zulu is also coming from Kaiser Zulu. So I don't know whether these people
Imagine if Munir was given a post as a minister.
That one is a problem. That one. Anyway, no judging here. But it is what it is.
Gentleman that in conflict with other people can organize even a boxing fight. We've seen you've heard audios, you've heard incidents of situations. So we already have the youth. So we have to tell these youths that are representing us in these very few positions to represent us well, to do a good job and carry more
people so that they can groom them and other people can get into this particular workforce. That's the only way that the youths are going to take over, is when the few youths who are having these roles are able to bring other people on board. And these other people have to put in the work. I'm all about working. I'm all about putting in 1,000 or 10,000 hours. Put in the work, show your worth, and be impactful. Nothing is going to be given to anybody on a silver plate. So, in conclusion, or rather, moral of the story, what's the moral of the story?
Moral of the story is let's stop crying. Go to work. But anyway,
let's put in the work.
Let's put in the work, and let's, if they're not recognizing us, let's show them by acting in a way that will surprise them and say, we can't avoid them. Let's be so impactful that we are unavoidable. Yeah. If they give us money, they should know that this money is going to double, or we're going to use this money properly. How many youth empowerment funds have been given from MMD to now UPND time, and yet every time we're talking about still trying to retrieve monies and all that stuff. So let's be responsible. The more we're responsible, the better we can penetrate these key positions. There are some people who are vocal, who are very vocal on social media, and here's the thing: social media is a double-edged sword, because it can ruin you and it can make you understand, because that's your CV right there. People forget that they've messed up their CV and then they want to be appointed.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
that it is what it is. So anyway, please let us know in the comment section below, are you satisfied or dissatisfied at the rate at which the youths have been employed or not been employed? Do you feel something needs to be changed? And how can the new Dawn government make sure that there is equal and fair representation with regards to the youths, women and people with disabilities and so on and so forth? So do you agree with most of the sentiments that we put across, and what are your opinions? Remember, this episode was brought to you by us, made by Fueven.
So make sure you do visit our site, www.auto.tech.
auto.zcorner.com. So this is one of the reasons why you should just simply click on the description, or rather the link is in the description below, and you will be able to sort of get to go to our site directly. So anyway, I know you cannot see me, but you have some fancy graphics going on right there. Talk to you a little bit later. You guys have been awesome. Z Corner is here to stay, so have a great time, be blessed, and God bless you.